What up? What up? What up? Doing some moving around in the studio, as you can see. You know, I got my pretty birds up in here. Still trying to adjust the lighting, so if it seems a little fuzzy, we're just doing a couple of upgrades to the show. This is the Sound of Orlando show. This is your boy Rome. We are representing the city of Orlando, but giving love to the entire country, because when we talk about hip-hop culture, it is everywhere. We have been affected by the entire world of hip-hop culture, so you already know when we're talking about Orlando, we talk about our legends, man, our great legends, people that have been contributing from day one and may have not got the shine they deserve. This next man I'm about to bring on is one of those legends of the city of Orlando. You know, he's been pretty much all over the place, you know, the Bronx, Orlando, Miami, he started out with some of the legends like Hitman, RIP to my man Moss, he did some collaborative work with him. He's got multi-platinum plaques. He's done stuff with Bone, Lil' Kim, you name it, DMX. I mean, he's done work with everyone. And he's still doing his thing. He's still representing that hip hop to the fullest. When I'm talking about this person, I can only be talking about the one and only, now newly, Dade, Miami-Dade County, Mr. Rated R. What's good?
What's the deal? What's the deal? You hear me?
Yeah, man, you live, man.
What's
you live
up?
direct.
Orlando.
Yes. It seems like this is the only way we get to see each other right now. Through this technology. So that's good, man. I mean, I'm honored to have you on the show. You're one of the very, believe it or not, first ones to get on this newly crazy, out of control show that seems to be growing day by day. So like I said, I'm honored to have you on the show. Yeah. You a damn slick Rick of stories. You got crazy stories for days. So we're definitely going to dig into some of that craziness. But first thing I want to do is for people that may not know you, because that is possible. In Orlando, we're so, it's like New York, man. We're so stuck to our blocks and neighborhoods that a lot of time things be going on right in your own city and you don't even know who the hell this person is. You're like, what the hell is going on, man? How come I don't know this person? And I'm doing the same thing he's doing. So, for my people that don't know who Rated R is, please believe me. Tell them where you're from, where you're originally from, and how you got into hip hop music.
Yeah, I'm originally from the Bronx. I got my name by Africa Bambaataa, actually, because I used to live in the Bronx River, and in the projects I used to hang out a lot there, and everybody used to say, "Yo, Rated" from the street. They always wanted to kill the R. So that's where I got it from. Shout out to Africa Bambaataa, Zulu Nation, 1410 Bronx River. People know that building really good. So I hung out a lot there. I practically lived there, basically, and that was where I was known. And that's where I got the name from. It's not the Rakim, because a lot of people have thought about it was from Rakim and all that. Nah, it's even deeper than that, which me and Rakim, we got to share one time, and I had to solidify that. Right. He is the king. He's one of my favorites, you know what I'm saying? So I told him where I got that from. So that's pretty much where I end up getting that name, and I ran with it. I mean, people would say, "Oh, Rated X, rated this, rated that." I was like, nah, Rated R. You know what I'm saying? I'm Rated R. So it was something really beautiful for me to go roll with. That's just the way I felt, And I felt like Rated R. I felt the music business is Rated R. Everything was Rated R. So I said, I'm in there. And that's where I got my name.
Right. So you got started in NY. For a lot of people, when you're talking about Florida in general, there's always some New York City story attached to the Floridian. Well, my parents moved from Puerto Rico. We started in the Bronx, and then, I wound up in Orlando. How long was it? How long were you there in the Bronx? And, shout out to the BX, but how long were you there? And how much did you absorb before you got to Ozone?
Well, I'm gonna keep it a 100. Okay, most people come to Orlando, they want a new life, they want to see the trees, they want a bigger house, a nice car, and all that fun stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you, I had a lot of street friends, and it was going down bad, and I was like, being that I was the good old guy, the good old guy could get caught out there, do some things, without even being involved. And I was like, look, it's time to go. I'm talking about the best of the best. Now, these guys were really true gangsters. And a lot of people like to cover their lifestyle and say that it was all cookies and cream, but it wasn't cookies and cream. I had a lot of true people doing some mad time. And I got to the point where I said, man, I ain't got nobody here. It's time to go, because I'm going to fall into some stuff that I don't need to fall myself into. So I literally said, hey, call my moms. I called everybody. I got this little money to move out here. And I said, look, I'm out. I got to leave New York because it's bad. I mean, everybody was getting rocked.
Now, put a date to this so everybody can.
I would say 1990, 1980, 1987, 89, 90, that within those 3 years term, bad in New York. That was when everybody was like getting it. And I said, it's time to go. It's time to go. I can't get caught up in this game. You know what I'm saying? It's time to go. My mom raised me well, but when you're in New York, man, you could get mixed up in anything. And I was a hustler. I like to hustle. I would sell Puerto Rican flags to buy my drum machine. I would sell, I would pack bags in the supermarket that most people don't like to talk about. Man, I did everything and anything to be at Sam Ash to buy that machine.
Okay, now let's talk about that real quick, because when people think of the BX, yes, they think of the abandoned buildings. They think of, the craziness, the gangs, and, just that hard body life. But give people more of a perspective of how, when you say it was tough, how tough was it to leave that, mind you, and how tough was it to be in that?
Well, I had a single mom, so my mom worked her butt off. So, she, shout out to my mom. She worked her butt off. I had my sister with me. She was my second mom. I mean, and just being in New York and in the Bronx. Hold up. I got a big surprise here. Hold up. Come on. Hold up. I just finished talking to my mom. Look, she's here.
Oh, shout out to my dude. What's up, my dude?
She made it for Delray Beach. This is special. This is, like Joe says, a Fat Joe moment. This is a rated R moment.
Yes. Talk about it.
That's the queen right there.
Truck it over here.
Yes.
That's what's up. See, there goes your moment, Ron. That's that's rated R's mom here. That's the one that talks to the piano. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what it's about.
Salud.
Without the queen, ain't no dream. That's what's up. All right, that's what's up. You see, I didn't even know that. It was a big surprise. So this is a like Fat Joe said, a Joe Oprah moment. This is a rated R moment for Rome moment.
I heard that, brother.
That was a good highlight in this show. So, like I said, my mom worked her butt off. It was hard. We had to do whatever it takes. I had to grow up. I had to walk through buildings and see my friends selling drugs and try to ignore them. And, but then I couldn't ignore them because, in the streets, you gotta medium yourself out and say what's up to the roach on the floor to survive. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that was it. And, like I said, my pops was a big drug dealer. I ain't going to sit here and sugarcoat that. In and out of jail. My mom, he left me at 3. And my mom raised me. And I still love my pops. Shout out to my pops because he was one of the realest hustlers to this day. And he did his thing. He made sure we had food on our plate, regardless if they were together or not. So my lifestyle was crazy. I was lost in New York. I was lost, but I was the type of guy that was in every borough except the Bronx for some reason, So I learned a lot. I jumped on the trains. I would chill at Canal Street. Anything that had to do with music, I was out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was out. And being in the Bronx and seeing all these people go in and out of jail and just, it's an education. It's like an education.
Right.
And you know, the Bronx keeps making it. You know what I'm saying? We just was hustling, and I would go to Bronx River, chill with the old school guys, go see Jazzy J. I would love old school guys and learn education and sit in the studio all day. So living in New York and being in the Bronx, you know, you had to be on point, you know, at all times. And I'm sure it's like that in other boroughs, but in the Bronx, if you were sleeping, you were getting it. You know what I'm saying? So but
and that's real talk, because for a lot of people, you hear stories about the Bronx all the time, but everybody has a different view of living in the Bronx, you know, and everybody has a different experience when it comes to being connected to a lifestyle of which, you know, we're all, you know, could potentially be locked up, you know, forever. You know, Rikers ain't no joke. You know, 33rd ain't no joke now. You know, having to grow up in conditions in which you either be locked up or killed, you know, and it's like, to your point, you know, you got to be on your game, because, you know, the streets plays for keeps, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, so give us an idea, to your point, you were talking about Africa Bam, you know, who are some of the people that you kind of came up with out in the BX?
Well, I came up with a lot of people in the BX, from Africa Bambaataa. The person that really taught me a lot about producing and being a producer was Jazzy J. At that point, he had a studio in Allenton Avenue, and he was Strong City Records, and that was in Allenton Avenue. And then, you know, I learned from him. I learned from Africa Bambaataa. And then when I used to hang out with Jazzy J, I was privileged and honored, and I met Fat Joe, and that was history right there. That was something beautiful. And I was with him every day. You know, I was like, oh, you know, like I met him at that studio, so I was like, yo, this is the guy. He's a Leo. I'm a Leo. We're gonna be brothers for life. And you know, so I got to meet a lot of people. I mean, I was in the Devil's Nest. The Devil's Nest is a club in the Bronx where hip hop started. So I used to watch Biz Markie D come from Queens to the Bronx. Like, every artist had to come to the Bronx to perform. And Devil's Nest, shout out to Salvatierlo and the Fever Records. I was that one little guy sitting on the side talking about "Let Me In, I Know I'm Young." I mean, I had to hide on the other side of the speakers backstage, and I just had to vision everything on how hip hop was being created. From Def Jam being on Elizabeth Street, you know what I'm saying? I seen Rob Bass walk into Def Jam and Russell Simmons go laugh at that record. It Takes Two and Out of Here, and all of a sudden it was the biggest record. I got to experience that. I used to stay in Def Jam and see everybody get rocked. Fights. I mean, a lot of people that were there used to argue about their deals, and I used to be in offices and just sitting there, and all of a sudden you hear the chair flying, like with Chuck Chill Out and all these people flags. It was just crazy.
Wow.
And I you know, like it was just like, you know, the New York is the library, you know what I mean? And if you know, it's a library. And I was just in every class, man, coming home, you know what I mean? Sleeping, waking up the next morning, going to the next show. I mean, the Bronx was just like, it was an outlet to where you can go wherever you want to do and what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to be with you know, Furious 4. These are back in the days. I'm 50 years old, feeling like 30.
Right.
So I'm talking about all these, like Charlie Chase, Cold Crush, Treacherous D, Shocking Females, because we are superstars. Let me tell you about the bass and the highs and the nature ride, because we are the Crash Crew. You know what I'm saying? That was my dream, just to be with all these people. And a lot of people gave me respect, because they were like, yo, this guy is everywhere. What does he do? You know, which I get to this day.
Right.
Because you can't buy that. You know what I'm saying? You can't buy that.
Nah, man. I mean, you know, part of that kind of experience, people don't acknowledge the power of relationships, right? And building those relationships over those amount of years are literally priceless. You know, to be able to say to somebody, hey, you know, I've known you for this many years. You know, you had an influence on me, whether you know it or not. You know, this, you know, you can't tell your story without telling their story. And that's amazing. You know, for a lot of people, you know, especially you hear that shit now, whereas people in general like to tell their story, but they don't include everyone. They don't say, hey, you know, this is just as much as my story as it is my man's over here, because, you know, without him, I'm not here. You know, so to that effort, to that particular outlook, that's dope. How did you get to Orlando, and what was that like once you hit Orlando in that '93? Because '93 was wild in Orlando.
Yeah. You had
it was a wild place in Orlando at that time.
Yeah, it was like Pine Hills, Crime Hills.
Right. You already know, man. The city was alive in '93, man.
You know, I can only remember so much, but you know what, Rome, like to me, like coming from New York, and it doesn't mean anything. Like I always knew how to adapt.
Right.
Like people come to the hoods and they don't know how to say what's up to the killer. What's up to the drug dealer? What's up to the one that's pitching? What's up to the one that's scamming? So you know, it's like you had, if you knew how to move, like they'll be like, yo, that nigga's cool, let him live. And you know what I mean? So I never was intimidated. And I can say, whether you want to believe it or not, I never got robbed. You know, I never got jewelry taken. And it's because I knew how to zone myself. And
well, for a lot of people that come from New York and hit Orlando for the very first time, it is a culture shock, man. It's like, and it's not a culture shock like, you know, shout out to, you know, my peoples in Missouri and Kansas City, where, you know, you come to a complete halt, you know. But Orlando had its own groove. When we're talking about '93 in Orlando, we had our own groove. There was so much shit down here going on at the time. We had that bass music riding heavy. You know, we had that freestyle riding heavy. We had that hip hop riding heavy. And so for a lot of people, you know, it was tough for them to kind of, you know, you had a lot of people from New York. Oh man, this shit's whack, man. I want to be in Orlando, man. This you know, I don't know how they get down, but they couldn't get away from the girls. You know, they couldn't understand that vibration, that the girls was out here dressing the way they were dressing, because they dress like that now in New York, but back then they weren't dressing like that in New York. You know, everything was like covered up, and you know, it was just a different vibe out here. Talk to me. How did how did you adjust so easily, like you were talking about?
Well, because I was so used to adjusting to different boroughs. Like I would go to Brooklyn and chill with Jay and them, and this is Marcy Projects, and it would be dark to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, Bleak was a cool cat, so he accepted me. You know what I'm saying? Like shout out to Bleak. You know,
shout out to Memphis Bleak. Let's go.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So Bleak accepted me. Jay accepted me. You know what I mean? It was cool people. It was like, you know, you had to move a certain way, and Jay don't really mess with nobody, but he always took out time for me. Like I don't know how. I never understood, because they talk so much about him, but he always was like, yo, this guy's good. I would always bump into him, and you know, like he gave me that love. So Marcy, I would be able to be privileged to be around Marcy. Then I would go to Queensbridge, and then when Nas was a youngin', I used to go to Nas and chill with them. So I would learn how to get adjusted to everybody. So when I came to Orlando, it was just an adjustment.
Right.
And when I came to Orlando, I knew a blessing was gonna happen eventually.
Right.
And you know, I knew that I was gonna adjust and all that. And let me tell you something. Like Orlando was deep into hip hop. You know.
Yes. Talk about it.
Yeah, we had Rome. We had Rome. You know, back in the days, that was killing it. We had Khaled that was killing it. Khaled's, at the end of the day, no matter how people look at him, he earned it. Right. You had DJ Nasty, who was rocking shows, playing all, like, you know, all the hits that I didn't pay attention to. So I got educated through Khaled, through Nasty. Ain't gonna front on that. Right. You know, Khaled got me more on the machines. You know what I'm saying? Cal was a little kid when I met him.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy how that works? When we're talking about Khaled and him helping people with machines, one of my favorite moments, or one of my memorable moments with Khaled, was I'm DJing at the Breakfast Club. Shout out to anybody that knows about the Breakfast Club. And, you know, I'm just starting to get into this, you know, production aspect of how to make tracks and stuff like that. And my man Dre, shout out to Dre, Andre Sebastian. He's like, dude, you need to go over there with Khaled and have him help you with those machines. And I didn't even think about it like that because I didn't think Khaled was on that right there. Yeah. Man, the brother invited me into his house. He's helping me work on the MPC. He had the MPC 60. And we're sitting there, and I just couldn't believe, you know, because people talk about doing stuff like that. But that was amazing, even for back then, that not only did he help you, he helped me. He helped a lot of people that we didn't even realize, you know, because those machines, you know, were expensive. So if you got around them damn things, you had to come with it. Like you had to be ready to use it.
And so, I wouldn't say he helped me because I'm very funny when it comes to direction. He inspired me. Like, in other words, I was always doing my thing, but he was doing some tricks that I had to step my game up. Right.
Talk about it. Yes.
And he was a beast then.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you were in front of him now, you probably would look at him differently. And a claim to fame story about Khaled. We're gonna get into this because this is something that's super, super important to me as a human being, as an individual.
Right.
You know, I like my flowers, you know what I'm saying? And I like to have my garden nice and full. You feel me?
Right.
And all my flowers I deserve. So far as Khaled goes, Khaled was a young, inspiring. He used to kick some butt, do all this stuff. He was amazing. And I caught a special love for him, like a little brother. Like he was my crazy little brother. I mean, we were 24 hours. I don't care what anybody says. Him and Nasty had their own relationship. DJ Nasty, shout out to Nasty, had their own little relationship with the DJing, but I was with him every day. And I used to say to myself, this kid is going to be huge. Right. You know what I mean? And we had this system. We would go to Jack the Rapper. We would go to sneaking concerts. I would go put his shield on. I would go inside, scope it out. I would call him, put my shield on him. He would get in, and then we would call Nasty. Nasty was always the last one that wanted to go, and he was always scared. Nasty was the one he can't front. You know what I'm saying? He was the one that put the last one. No, you go in first. Like but we all made it. We would call the concert bandits. We went to Jack the Rapper. We were phenomenal. Nobody could touch us, you know. And then they had the Hitman, you know, with shout out to them and Caesar, who I adore, who has been the most humblest cat, still the same name, still the same address, cool as hell. Shout out to Caesar, DJ Caesar. And we were just like phenomenal. Like there was no answer. So me being from the Bronx and stuff like that, I always had that drive. He had the drive. We made the best of it. And we were like together 24 hours. This kid was a little kid. Khaled did the most amazing. I'm telling you, he used to freak me out. He's like, hold on, Rob, give me a second. I'm gonna go get some. He would get clothes, sell them, and then go buy records and come back. And then he introduced me to sushi. I was like, what the hell is this sushi thing? Because Khaled, like Khaled came from money. Let's be realistic and
right.
Came from money, but his parents were super humble. Shout out to Afab, Khaled. Slumna, those are my family. Like I came lost. I was lost. I had no family. Those are my family. So he would take me to International Drive, go eat sushi, and I'd be like, "What's this, man? Just eat. It's good. It's good. It's good." So you know what I'm saying? And he would sell something and take me to International Drive, and we would just eat. So I learned a lot. He was just crazy. I was crazy and stuff. So eventually, he was a ball boy in Orlando Magic. And a lot of people don't know that. And this story is about me, but I like to give people their flowers when they deserve them. And so we're going to take it to the other side. And he was a ball boy, and he was going to the games. I would go to the games, and I met Nick Anderson. And Nick Anderson, shout out to Nick Anderson. I'm 25.
Shout out to Nick Anderson.
25 of that. Live. 25 is always live. That guy would shoot from here to the locker room.
Right. Part of that special Magic crew that made it to the finals.
Yeah. Ain't nothing like Nick Quick, pal. I don't give a damn. And I know he lost those 3 short shots, and everybody turned their back on him. But
yeah, that was really tough, though.
Yeah, that was tough. But that is my brother.
Yeah. Shout out to Nick, man.
He's a beautiful person. He helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's perfect. He had his ways. He has it, but he had a huge heart, and he is the first player of Orlando Magic, and we got to give him his flowers.
Shout out to Nick Anderson. Shout out to Orlando Magic. You already know. Let's go.
Yeah. So then back to real quick, speeding up. So I had met Nick, and he wanted Cali to teach him how to do. So then I ended up. Cali was busy, you know, chasing the dollar, which he loves, but it's all good. And I had ended up going to Nick's house. And next, you know, we became best friends. I had worked at Universal Studios. He gave me the privilege. I became his assistant, and it was history. So if it wasn't for Khaled, you know, I would have not met Nick Anderson. It was the best time of my life. I will not regret it. Shout out to the Anderson family, the most beautiful people in the world. So be known, I was doing it, living in mansions, driving Ferraris, traveling the world, jets, all kind of stuff. And the biggest moment was when we picked up Shaq from the airport. That was my biggest moment. You know what I'm saying? When Shaq came and the Magic picked him up, and we got to meet him, and he and Nick met him. He had his name belt, the white car looking like a space shuttle, the white Benz. It was crazy. That was, you know, it was crazy. But that was a moment of it, which I still keep in touch. Shout out to Shaq because he's a real one. And
shout out to Shaquille O'Neal, man. I can't wait to get you on this damn show, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Shout out to his sister who died from cancer. She was a good friend of mine. You know, he lost Kobe, lost his sister.
Yeah, man.
Tough time for Shaq, but he's a genius. He's a monster. He's a big teddy bear, and he loves people, and he's changed a lot of people's lives. So big up Shaq. You know, this is
big up Shaq, man.
Part of my story too, because I've had experience around him that I have to give him credit. And these are one of the privileges of coming from Orlando. Like, you can't get that. Penny Hardaway, Nick, it was the squad. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Squad, you know, and traveling on the planes, doing everything with them, eating top of the line, like, made me feel like I played for the team. So that was a blessing that I'll never forget. And shout out to everybody who's part of my life in that world. So we're moving forward. So me and Kai, we were together. We're having a good time. And we end up like being brothers. He's my brother to this day. I don't understand him sometimes. But at the end of the day, I'm keeping it real. He's my brother in my heart. He's always been in my heart. Eventually, you know, he started to elevate. Things got better, and he moved to Miami. I stood back. You know what I mean? I stood back, and we kind of like it distanced us, which was really bad. But as I was in Miami, I mean in Orlando, before I had left, Fat Joe was coming in town, and I always wanted them two to mesh. Like I always say, yo, they gotta mesh, you know what I mean? We gotta figure something out. And I did whatever it took, okay, to get those two together. And you know, this is history. The streets know it. It is what it is. You know, I put them together and forget about it. It's an empire. He's the godfather of his daughter. They stick like, you know, thick and thin together. They, you know, I always thought I never got that credibility that I was supposed to get. And I, like I said, one time I walked into a barbershop, my band, L's barbershop, and I was like, I read this thing, and it was like, yeah, I'm the one that put with Cali with Fat Joe. I lost it. I said, what? I said, who's this clown on the, you know, it was a you know, L's barbershop, and I was like, who's did it? And I got pissed because in reality is when you do something so beautiful like that, you have to stick up and get your flowers. You do not let no one tell you any better than that. And I'm telling you, to the young guys, okay, to the young guys that are up and coming, which is very important. Whenever you make something happen and the other side doesn't agree to it, you continue to stick to what you know, and you stay right to where you did, and you know what you did. Don't ever let anyone reverse your thought, your way of doing things, because they will take away your shine. And at the end of the day is you have to help others to bloom in life. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that was my goal. My goal was to see Khaled go. Now, I never take away his hustle, because he used to hustle everything. He'll make $100 out of 1 penny. I ain't gonna lie. But at the end of the day, you have to mesh. You can have beautiful music and no placements. You just have beautiful music. And that's what I did with Khaled and Joe. And it became a beautiful thing. They're both good. They're having fun. I'm in my own world. I'm doing my thing. I wish them very best. But at the end of the day, I did that. You know what I'm saying? And nobody could take that away from me. And the streets know it was that. And I just want to get that clear. And we're going to move on. The guy's doing good. He got beautiful kids. The mother's good. The father, I see him for the birthday. I spend the birthday every now and then. We're not eating dinner at the table. We're not visiting each other like we should. But you know, I still go strong, and I pray, and I pray and continue that he rises as much as he wants. And that is the real. You know what I mean? I'm a real person. I'm not gonna sit here and play like everything is cookies and cream. But at the end of the day, I like to be real.
To kind of dovetail off what you just said, I mean, the purpose of this show, man, is to give people the ability to tell their story, because one of the things I noticed when I came back from Kansas City is that for a lot of people, you know, a lot of people felt voiceless, you know, felt like they didn't have, you know, we know the stories, but for a lot of people, they don't feel that other people may know necessarily the backstory of things. And this is, you know, this is the importance of the show, to give context. And, you know, once again, hearing when you're describing all of this shit, you know, for me, it's describing my story. And I was there for a lot of it, you know, but to hear it from you puts a whole new, you know, that's a whole nother movie. You know, it's not the same movie. It's a different, you know, it may have me in it, but I'm playing a different role in that movie. But that's the power of stories and telling your story and having how important your voice is to the overall story. Because like you said, there's a lot of unsung heroes when it comes to the success of a lot of people, you know, and I'm pretty sure, you know, I heard this guy say this the other day, you know, no, it was Mike Tyson. Shout out to Mike Tyson. I heard him say, you know, why did you do it for? You was doing it to get a return. And for a lot of people, they just did it because they loved these people. You know, they wanted to help. Like, you know, that's not always done. You know, that's not always done. So I acknowledge that. Shout out to all my people who are skeptics in life. But there's a lot of people out here that genuinely see somebody just, you know, 2 knives short of getting where they're trying to go.
Yeah.
And they hand them these 2 knives and say, run with it, bro. Because sometimes it's not your place to be in their position. But that doesn't mean you can't help them. You know, you're not a Khaled. But why would you stop Khaled from if he needed 2 knives to get where he was going? It would be, that's common sense. Get a brother 2 knives. And the gamble is sometimes, to your point, will they show the flowers? Will they give you the flowers, the thank yous? But there's a lot of people within that story. And that's the point of why this show is important, because there's a lot of people that are probably thankful you did what you did. I mean, they're never going to get a chance to speak on an open forum and describe that. You know, nigga, I fed you, you know, ramen noodles that day. I you know, I helped you, I clothed you, I got you to that point to get to that space.
And I want to.
It's a concert. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not bitter. I don't care what anybody says, because, like I said, to see him grow up there, I'm a day one. So all the new people that in his life, it's awesome. But there's nothing like being there from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? From the roots. Me, Nasty, him, Caesar. You know, from the bottom. Yourself. Every now and then you come from the other side. Patty was with them. I don't remember too well, but she definitely was with them. And
shout out to Patty.
You know what I mean? And she busts her butts for Khaled. So you know what I mean? So she earns her rank. You know,
a lot of unsung heroes. A lot of unsung
heroes. And you know, and Patty's was smart. But let me tell you, we had our little differences on thoughts, because you know the business could change your dynamic on how you feel. But I'm day one. You know what I'm saying? You ain't taking nobody's taking that day one fish from me. And Patty was nasty with the Pro Tools too. Patty was going to school at the time. That I remember. I remember that. There's a difference. There's the crew that you hang out with in the street and you eat dinner, and we go to you know, Steak and Shake or Waffle House, because that was Khaled's one of the favorite spots we used to go. And Khaled was the type of person, he goes to the same thing. So there was different moments that people had, but you know, I was the down and dirty, crying, taking him to the hospital because he used to have anxiety attacks. Like that was my little brother. Like I used to get scared that he was gonna die on me. Like that's how deep it was.
Right.
So deeper than rap and all this other stuff. So you know, so it's important that when you do so much like that, it's important for people to understand that your heart was there before your face. Like I don't expect him to give me money. I don't expect him to give me anything, but I do expect him to give me the opportunity to earn. You know what I'm saying? To earn it. Right. That's one thing you always will. So when you help somebody and you don't want to return, that's fine. And they're at a position, but I do expect, you know, for you to give me opportunity to earn it. I don't want it for free. I don't want it for, but you know, you got 10 albums. I need to be on 10 of those albums.
Right. And for a lot of people, expectations.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's, you know, and it never happened. I'm sorry, Rom. It never happened. But at the end of the day, look around, man. Look around, look around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Look around. I got a beautiful house. Look at my sister. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got beautiful mom. She's still alive, looking young. My kids, you know, shout out to my son Ryan, for young Ryan. I have an autistic son. A lot of people don't know that, but he's a diamond in the rough. You know, a lot of industry people. You know, Nasty came clean and finally went public with it. I felt the same way he did at the time I was shot. I gave up everything. I gave my mission. I had a hiatus time, and but then I was living in the now. Like it's weird because I read DJ Nasty's story and he wrote, and I did the same thing. When I see Khaled now with his son hugging, I'm the same way with my son. So I'm related like I'm there, even though I'm not there. So you know, we all have issues that a lot of people, you know, don't know about. You know, that really is serious. You know what I'm saying? Like autism is serious. You know what I'm saying? And my son is Asperger's. Nasty's a little more serious. So I have a lot of sympathetic to that kid, you know, and I love him to death. I don't get to spend time with him, but you know, he's my hero too. You know, to see him and he's a grown man now. So it's beautiful. Nasty's mom means the world to me. You know, like Khaled's mom means the world to me. So this is not just for hype. This is like 30 years and better. You know what I mean? 30 years and better. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? And,
absolutely.
You know, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think that in the world, you know, we have to help each other. We have to stick together. This youth is so lost, Rome. It's so lost in what this music business is. I'm just trying to take over to give, you know, the detail on how these kids are. And what's most important to me, Rome, to be honest with you, is not these plaques. It's not the Grammy nominations that I don't have, but I do have a Grammys. You know, my Grammys are my kids. Those are my Grammys. You know what I'm saying? And
talk about it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just raising my kids and showing them how to love. It's sad. I have a lot of songs that had curse words. I can't explain to them now. You know, like what the name of the song with Little Kim was. You know, I had to explain to them how Mas died on me. It's a lot of things that I went through.
Right.
You know,
absolutely.
Losing Mas was the worst thing for me ever. Losing Mas meant the world to me. He really did, and I lost him. So it was hard.
Yeah, it was a hard loss, a hard L for Orlando in general when we lost a very bright, intelligent, humble, next one out of the gate producer, Mas.
Yeah, he was incredible, man. He was incredible. It was like time, like we were totally different people, man. But it was an ill ride. You know, we were supposed to be the runners, you know, like and we had a fallout. He had a different mind state, and he would say things, and I'm like, yo, my man, like, you know, like he liked to fight with dogs. I didn't like fighting dogs. I felt it was bad. We had different mind states, but it's funny because before he passed, you know, he was calling me back. Nasty told me, some people told me that he was trying to reach back out to me. So he kind of grew up, you know, like Mas was always just like, it was weird. Like I loved him to death. And he would say like crazy shit. Like, 8 Mile running. the guy who would shoot himself in the foot, or he would say some. What was his name? The guy that used to say crazy.
Talking about Cheddar Bob, man.
Hey, Cheddar Bob. He was like a Cheddar Bob, and then he'd be like, "Yo, I'm sorry, Rated R. I didn't mean to say that." And I'm like, "Look, don't worry about it." You know what I'm saying? So, and then he told a couple of stories to people. I have gotten approached with people. It got so bad that I had to take out paperwork and show. I'm telling real shit. This is real talk. One guy tried to come at me on some like, you didn't do right by him. I said, excuse me, boy. I took the publishing paperwork. I showed them the name. I showed them everything because I don't do nobody dirty. You know, and it was just crazy. So like, you know, him losing him was bad. It was bad for me. Most people, you dream, you go on, and he's resting in heaven. Shout out to his mom, DJ Black, who was there. Shout out to DJ Nasty, who gave me the phone call, which was the hardest phone call I ever received. You know, in my partnership, he was brave enough. So shout out for that. And like I said, you know, I won't stop doing what I'm doing. I love helping the youth. I'm about the youth. I find kids in the street. They be like, yo, can I take a picture? I'm like, yeah, no problem. Then there's, you know, yo, how did you do it? And I've given machines out, Rome. Like what good is it if you make all this money, right? And then you don't give it back out. You know what I'm saying? You don't give it back out. And, you know, it doesn't make sense, Rome. It's like you got to give back. I've given keyboards. I've given headphones. I mean, you know, I love giving back. You know what I'm saying? And I was in a group home, right? You there, Rome?
Shout out to all my people who know what the hell a group home is.
Well, I'm going to give you a big briefing. A group home is a house where they put a bunch of kids that are lost in life. Okay.
Right.
And I don't hide nothing. You know what I mean? I don't hide nothing. And one of my biggest glories too is a place called Children's Village in Dobbs Ferry, New York. Now, you know, I was privileged to be with DMX, right? A lot of people don't know this side of him until he went public with it. But DMX was in a place with me called Children's Village for 4 years. For 4 years, he lived in Crowley's College. I lived in Minturn. But I kind of lived in Crowley's College because I made myself move to Crowley's College just to be with him. Kind of like, you know, so legally I was Minturn, but I stood in college because I had, you know, everybody on Smash. We had everybody. We used to have everybody on Smash, and they would let us break the rules, kind of like, you know, like stay in different homes. So I was privileged to be around X, and it was incredible, you know. And X was there because he was a car thief, and his mom literally left him there, which was really broke my heart. I was there to this day was because I was a knucklehead, and having a beautiful mom and being a knucklehead wasn't right. And I admit it to this day. And my mom, sometimes she sits there and goes, oh, I regret taking you there. Nah, you took me there. And let me tell you, Children's Village changed my life. I learned responsibility. I learned how to live with 14 different attitudes. I learned how to share with people. I mean, the group home is an experience. Not that everybody has to go there, but at the point, that was my turning point where I said, enough is enough. I got to do better myself. And like I said, I was with X there. I got to see him write Slipping, Falling, Can't Get Up. I mean, we were freaking fracked, you know what I'm saying? And then later on, it's weird because people forget things. I go to Apollo Theater and X is performing. And how we rekindled was he performed, and I was with Fat Joe, and he just finished performing. And then X performed, and I was listening to the stuff he was saying. I said, oh my God, that's the song that my boy wrote. But I didn't know it was him. I'm keeping this real. Like, this is what life's about, keeping it real. Right. And when he stared at me, he looked at me like, oh, you're going to forget me like that? And little do you know, I brought tears to my eyes. We grabbed each other. We hugged. It was back again. Like, even to this day, like, X is, you know, people talk about X too. I hate when people do that. He's the most beautifulest person. He had his demons. He had everything.
Well, let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. For a lot of people, and this is why the power of forgiveness is so incredible, because for a lot of people, we have high expectations and no patience, right? We expect these great things out of these people, but yet at the same time, expect them not to have great epic falls, right? You know, X is one of the great examples of the walking contradiction, because at the end of the day, it's not about the messenger, it's about the message. And God chooses plenty different prophets out here with plenty of problems, because they're not going to receive it from people with no problems. That's not his works. You don't know, you ain't trying to hear something from somebody who's got everything figured out. A lot of times you hear what you need to hear from someone that is broken. And that is what we call hip hop. Hip hop wasn't the story of people that had it all figured out and all together. Hip hop came from people that were broken and in broken situations that took broken pieces and made it into something valuable. You know, our brokenness is valuable to an entire industry.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
You know, so when we're talking about people, let's apply the right context when we're talking about hip hop, bro. He was who he was supposed to be. You know, anytime somebody be telling, oh, he's on drugs or whatever, when we're talking about people, oh, he's too wild, he's too this. You know, everybody that you look in a Bible or Quran or Torah that's important in a man, they were half loony. Okay, well, none of them.
They thought I was crazy too, yeah.
Right, they were half loony.
You know what I mean?
Right, no, to get the message that God delivers to you, you can't have in your entire sanity. That's not how that works. There's a lot of people that are brilliant, special, beautiful people and are dealing with the worst shit in the world.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have half our shit. So shout out to all my broken people that know something about that real hip hop, that's about that real hood shit, that real ghetto shit coming from nothing and taking nothing and turning it into something.
Exactly.
That's what hip hop is, not the other way around.
Exactly. And that's what I tell everybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? I only did one banging record with X. That's another thing as far as expecting things, which I'm grateful for because I like to stick and move. I don't stay stuck on stupid. Was we got to do the Jadakiss song with Mas and was called Here We Go Again. And it was dissing Beanie Siegel. So it was my controversial records. One of the biggest records besides Ether with Nas and Jay-Z. So we had a huge moment with that record, but at the end of the day, it was hip hop. I went all out with it. I wasn't scared. Moss was a little scared to do it. I was like, look, man, we got you. It was a war moment. Let's be realistic in hip hop. And that's one thing I never understood. Like, why are we gonna fight each other? Why are we gonna, we rock each other with the words and the wisdom of words, and let's make it a big empire situation, not just fighting and you better than me and all that stuff. So me and Mas was able to expect something like that. That was one of our claim to fame together. And like I said, the youth is so lost, man. The youth
if you're gonna talk about the youth right now, I have my own perspective on why the youth, if they are lost. We've dropped the ball on a lot of shit. Our generation was paid off in a lot of different ways. We were given jobs, good paying jobs, sometimes better housing, a better car, than our parents had. We had a lot of things given to us that our parents had to fight to get us to where we were straight enough to not have to go through some of the shit that they went through. And as a result, it bought our silence. So instead of, schooling these kids, even though we've seen a lot of the same bullshit that was going on, instead of schooling these kids in the right way and being a mentor to them, and like you were talking about earlier with the group home, being a mentor, we somehow got this, we turned into our folks in some ways or another. So we're yelling at them. We're telling them, you guys suck. And, that immediately created a larger divide that now the kids, they don't respect not only our decisions in a lot of ways, you know, because we left them with a racist fucking world that they're not having to fight and deal with. But they're also, you know, we left them with, you know, this idea that we had it better than them. And money isn't always better. Security isn't always better. I mean, I remember growing up, and yeah, it wasn't secure. I was poor, but I had some of the best times of my life in poverty.
That's one thing about me.
No phone, no, you know, not a lot of this other stuff that makes you so comfortable. And that was some of the greatest moments in my life. But for these kids that grew up with a phone, that's not the song that they listen to. So as adults, we gotta, if we're gonna reach them in any possible way, we gotta write the songs that they will listen to.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that kind of like freaks me out when it comes to that, because it's like the words that we use, like these kids are gonna use, like it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? They're gonna bring them out to their families. They're gonna say it to their cousins. They're gonna say to the family. So it's hard because it's like whatever you say, we're gonna retrack it.
Well, you know, and Lord knows, I'm the last person you want to take advice from, because I'm a fucking nut. Okay, so with that said, I'm just saying, a lot of times we got to reach people in a genuine way. Just be you. Yeah. Don't be what they want you to be, and don't try to assume what they want you to be. Just be you, and stop judging the fuck out of people. If we can fucking do that, the world would be a better fucking place. Oh, you do that? Oh, man, good for you, bro. If we can say good for you a lot more than be like, oh, you doing that? Oh, that motherfucker's whack. You know, that kind of shit had its place, and it made us strong. But this is a whole new chapter. And with new chapters, you know, sometimes you got to put them toys away and apply and reach for new tools, you know, and approach these kids in a more respectful and loving way. I heard my boy talking about it the other day. He was saying, you know, when I see somebody, that's older than me, shout out to Prince Poe from Organized Confusion. He said this. He said, when I see somebody younger than me and they give me a screw face, I say, what's up, my brother? How are you doing? Mm-hmm. You know, small stuff like that goes a long way in a story. Where the story normally stops at is when you give them exactly what they're giving you. And this whole world is doing that right now. Somebody hating me, so I'm gonna hate them.
It's true.
If we could find some ways to, like I said, get out of this idea that I'm old, you're young, I'm big, you're small, I'm smart, you're dumb. You know, we can actually have a conversation like adults, because most of us come to the damn beach with bags and bags of sand. And it's just ridiculous, man. We can't live in a world like that too much longer, man. Who the hell wants to live in a sandcastle? Why the hell are you bringing sand to a beach? That's supposed to be somewhere you're supposed to leave everything behind and start a brand new conversation, you know? And like I said, these youths, you know, and shout out to all my young people out there, because I know they disappointed. I know y'all be looking at us, man. Y'all are just crazy as hell, and we are. That's never gonna stop, but it doesn't mean we don't understand. I understand why these kids are looking at us the way we are, because we're too busy trying to emulate them instead of us being who the fuck we are unapologetically and just love them instead of judging them. You know,
exactly.
Judging ain't got shit to do with love. You can love somebody and be a help desk. You know, it's just, think about it like computers, right? If somebody comes up to you with an issue, it isn't for you to tell them what their problem is. It should be to tell them how they can get out of the problem.
Yeah, for sure.
If we started more that way, things would be a lot better. But I'm rambling on. This is all about you right now, and I want to keep it moving.
It's not all about me. It's all about my life.
Right. But I want to keep it moving.
It's important when people do interviews.
Right.
And it's important, like, and I've got a couple of messages where like they wrote something to me now, which I disagree. Like, don't talk about this. Don't talk about. Nah, I'm talking about it. I'm talking about everybody, because at the end of the day, okay, if there's no other people, then there's no story.
Right.
You understand? So you have to include, when you do the interview, you talk about yourself, but people love hearing about other people too. And I'm big on that. You know, I'm not self-centered. My career wasn't just by myself. We had the club promoters. Shout out to Nishi. Back in the days in the tunnel, I was #1 day tunnel head. We had the club promoters. We had the people that own restaurants, that throw parties, the strip club owners. All these people played a part in my life. Why? Because if I wasn't in front of the person, I couldn't conduct anything. So when I got into clubs for free and nobody says the promoters, nobody talks about the people that threw the venues and the companies, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, it means nothing. It means nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And something else too, the DJs. People have a tendency of forgetting the DJs. Shout out to all my DJs.
Yes, sir.
When I had my song and Monster's song out, let me tell you something. Carmelo, Funkmaster Flex, it wasn't because Atlantic Records hit them off like people say and all that. It was relationships. Like, I was in the mud with these kids. I have Carmelo's first tape. I was in Tunnel when Wu-Tang was wilding in Tunnel. You know what I'm saying? I was with Flex when he first started. When this guy used to work for Flex, start off with Flex. You know, like, all these people were like liaisons of Flex, and I would see them come up, and I'd be like, wow, enough. Big part of my life. Always supported me, played the records, let me in the clubs. Big Joe from New Life Entertainment. Like, these are people that people forget. Jimmy's Bronx Cafe. All these people that just, you know, when it came to the music business, I learned from Fat Joe how to put flyers up. I learned how to promote. I learned how to tour. You know, like, let's be real. No matter what outcome is now, we don't get along. We don't talk about anything negative. We have to look back and say, what did I learn from this? And everybody in my life played a part. Right. You know, putting flyers out was important. Bombing the streets was important. Politicking was important. Going to radio stations was important. Saying hi to everybody was important. You know, this thing is not just, here's my record, I'm done. So I learned a lot of stuff from people. I forget it to this day. And it's super important. And if I forgot anybody, you know what I'm trying to say? I just want to say thank you for giving me the no's, the yeses, and the maybes, and we'll see. Those are two words I cannot stand. The we'll see is fake. When the youth of tomorrow will see, no. It's either yes or no. You know what I'm trying to say? And keep that in mind. Those are the worst words you want to hear. You'll see, let the future tell, time take time. Not that everything happens overnight, but when someone tells you, send it to my email, we'll see, all that. No, I don't want to send it to email. I want to go to your studio, your session. I want to press play. You know, all you producers out there, you know, trying to go. I learned that the hard way. I learned it a long time ago, and I never understood. I never want to be imposed and all that. No, you gotta hit. When you get that moment and you're in the mall and that artist tells you, get my sister's number, get it, and make sure you try it. Call it right there. Make sure it's real. Tons of tricks you got to do.
You hear that, Orlando, man?
Yeah, you know,
man just dropped some jewels, some bombs, some damn torpedoes on top of the city of Orlando right now. For all my aspiring people that are out there trying to make things happen. Did you hear what he just said? One of my craziest stories or moments in my life has to do with you. And something that I took totally for granted. And then I look back I seen some documentary on it, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And let me put it in perspective, folks. We're living in New York at the time. Me and my brothers, Malik, shout out to Sep One, and we're there, and I'm contemplating on coming back, and my boy Ralph, he's in this thing thick. And, we get there.
My real name is Ralphie. Just so y'all
right,
know.
right. Rate it up. He's in there thick. He's in New York thick. We taking the train to Pelham Parkway, and going out there to see him, and we were staying with him for a hot second. Shout out to you. And then he says, "Hey man, I don't know what the hell y'all doing Monday, but y'all need to be coming out with me. We're going to the Palladium." And I said, "On a Monday?" So, I'm thinking, whatever, it's some rinky-dink club. Now, mind you, I knew nothing about the history of the Palladium, that it was the first club that the owners of Studio 54 had when they came out of jail. Yep. And so I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be whack, but I'm going because it's New York City and I'm going. It's a Monday. We get off the train from Staten Island in New York City. Taking the ferry, get off the train, getting downtown to meet him. I come out, this place looks like some Wall Street bank.
The lines.
And the line was around the corner. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And Ralph was like, and now mind you, we didn't come to New York with this lavish wardrobe, so I'm dressed like I would normally dress to go to any hip hop event. And he's like, y'all ready to come in, right? I'm like, there's no way he's getting in. And I was doubting him. There's no way we're getting in here. I see people waiting in line, and I'm like, we're walking all past them. Mm-hmm. And he's like, come on, man, what are you doing? Hurry up. And so we're getting up. We're walking up these stairs. I'm like, there's no way he's getting us in. Dude, if we didn't walk past every bodyguard, every bouncer, everyone at the front door, people taking off their shoes, we didn't have to do none of that neither. We walked right through into the Palladium, which looked like Studio 54.
Like come live on Sunday. Okay.
Right. And it was Funkmaster Flex's birthday, and I'm like, dude, he's introducing us to Big Pun, and Run DMC there, LL Cool J is there, and I'm like, this is a fucking Monday. This is insane. But that, to this day, bro, is one of my favorite moments with you in a place that was not home, right? Like, being somewhere different. For a lot of people, you could be this kind of person at home, right? When we're home, it's all good. When you take people out of their comfort zone, it was your comfort zone, but, that wasn't my place. And to take somebody over there and just, show them something like this. And I remember we was just rocking out all night. And it was such a mind-blowing experience. Man. I don't remember most of it. I just remember the peak points, like going in, meeting these people, and then everything is like, a blur. But to your character, that is who you are. Mm-hmm. When you try to do something, you do it big. Even if everyone doesn't think you're going to do it, you do it.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, because for a lot of people, they think that that's something to be hated on for people that may doubt you. And it's not a doubt like people doubt you that you ain't never going to be nothing. But when you're about to do amazing stuff, there is a moment of doubt, because a lot of times you think you need this great miracle and you just need that one person. Every team needs this LeBron, right? To do the winning block or the big score. So, kudos to you and what you've done over your career. You wouldn't have the relationships you had unless you were able to do a lot of these impossible things and surprise the hell out of people, and that says a lot for coming from Orlando, because when we're talking about Orlando, You know, it seems like it's only a 2-lane road, but it's bigger than that. There's plenty of people that have done incredible, impossible stuff. So when you did that record for Bone, that was a representation of our city. Our city did that.
Yeah. Shout out to Nasty. Nasty did about most of the tracks. You know how people front and all that like that. I played the key part. I like to keep it 100. Not that I wasn't talented, but he had a lot to do with that. But I had a lot to do with the plug. So I'm very real when it comes to people doing songs and all that stuff. You know, because you could be, you put it this way, you can be a producer and be another producer if you produce the situation. You understand? Right. So you can do 100% of the record, but if there's no way to go on it, on the music part.
You mean you can eat if other people eat? That's how big words are, man. I mean, the words don't just fit one person. Yeah, words can actually, production, that's why a lot of people get it messed up when you talk about executive produce. The executive producer is the one that put it all together, put this whole machine in motion, or at least set the machine in motion, and then the producers are the ones that push those buttons on those machines.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and everyone plays a part.
Right? And the producer like Diddy and like myself, because I'm gonna keep it 100 and buck with you. Everybody ever did a record where was kind of better on the Pro Tools. I'm not a Pro Tools guy. I'm more like a hardware guy. You know, touching the machines and keyboards. I could play keyboards. You know, I can't. You put me in a room, you getting some music. That's one. You can't. And there's a lot of people who have a perception of me just putting kind of like a plug guy. But I am the plug, and I will be the plug forever.
Dude, he had played people. Orlando. He had played me a track in Pelham Bay. Never forget it. Off the MPC 3000. And I was just like, dude, this 3000 is so dope. The sound and what you did on that sounded so completely amazing. To your point, you don't need to do everything. You know, whatever happened to a chorus or a concert of people, you know, we live in this world where everybody's got to, you know, do everything on their own, which, you know, play hero ball, which is bullshit, you know. Jesse Jazz says, have you ever been to the Rhythm Factory in Castle Hill? Just asking because my landlord owned it and he took me there a few times.
Sure did. Sure did.
Yes.
I'm everywhere from rock and soul. Let me get those names right. Damn, this is back in the days, you know, rock and soul records. I mean, oh man, SOS record pool. So to answer that question, I used to work for a record pool, okay, with Al Pizarro, VIP record pool. So, you know, I used to work for him, and I used to work with Buddha, who's DJ Chinky as we speak, which is Gabi's brother, shout out to Gabi, has a huge management company called G-Star. You know, I was around Nelson, Gabi, all those guys. So we worked the record pool. Al Pizarro was a big inspiration to my life. I learned how to distribute records. I mean, there were moments like Fugees that I still have relationships with from the Fugees, my girl, Lauryn Hill, because there were times when I worked at a record pool, we would run around with Lauryn Hill when there was no money and promote the records and do radio runs with her. And to this day, she remembers that, which is a beautiful thing. And you know, to being
Jesse said he meant the nightclub in the Bronx.
Yeah, well, there was
Rhythm Factory.
There's side streets, Chase-and-Soir, what else? Damn, I'm going way back to my memory days. The memory's not that good. I'm 50, I ain't gonna lie to you, but it was great moments. So
shout out to all my people from Castle Hill too.
Yeah, Castle Hill, that's right. I used to be at Castle Hill all the time. That's where Pun lived. You know,
Third Eye, I believe, lived out there. Third Eye, Jesse West. Shout out to Jesse West.
Hill, lived in the same building as J-Lo's mother. Shout out to Remy. The Chris Lighty and Dave Lighty, they were Jehovah Witness. I knew them that long. They lived in Castle Hill. I learned so much from them. Chris Lighty, I miss him to death. You know, that was one of my biggest inspirations. My man James Cruz was a big inspiration to me. He was like one of those guys. One thing I got to say about James, I got to give him credit. because this guy was like, hold up, Radar, give me 5 minutes. And he would come in 3 minutes. Okay, Radar, I got you. I would go into the G unit and be like, what size you wear, Radar? And I was like, size 10, hold on. And bring me back like 4 pairs of sneakers. Like, shout out, because he got an artist now called that he has a big hit called Whoopty. And it's huge. And, you know, that kid is young. He's from the Bronx. He's like a nephew to him. And he's kicking up. So it just, like, it all goes back into time, you know, and those are moments you can't remember, you know. One of my biggest accomplishments now that I have to give a shout out to is I got my 3 brothers. When I say 3 brothers, these guys grind with me. They listen to me. They, you know, we stay up nights making music. I have a company that I was actually First Team Productions. And then I said, you know what? There's so many dirty people on this game. I got to figure out a better name and get some really genuine people like yourself, Ron, and I decided to call the company A Few Good Men Productions, right? A Few Good Men Productions, which I'm proud to say I literally have 3 producers, okay? One's name is Jesse P. from North Carolina, okay? A Boozer's from Miami, who's Haitian. Jesse's Loasian. And then I got my man, Nice One, who worked with me at JetBlue. And I saw the passion in them. And I said, the same way I saw the passion in Khaled and all these other people I used to shout out and knew they were going to be some, you know, I just said, let me try to help them. So I end up signing them to my company. And these guys did a no money down plan just with faith, and which is a huge, you know, step in life that they did. And I appreciate them and I love them to death. And like I said, we have a Loasian, a Haitian, and a Jamaican, and a Dominican. So ain't no way we're going to miss a beat. We have all the flavors we need. We have all the things, and we working on stuff. These kids, like, real quickly, like I met a Boozer. That's my firstborn. Like, you know what I mean? I love him to death. I met him. He beat a Boozer. I met him in a beat battle, and he came with some stuff, and he didn't get it, and he was a little sad. And I said, yo, this was it's going on 3 years. I said, you don't keep your head up. I believe in you. You're gonna blow up, right? And I took my time with him. He rode and died. We didn't have paperwork till 2 years to 3 years. We didn't have no paper. We just was on straight. He went hard, man. This kid is incredible. I'll put anybody against him. Anybody against this guy. All right. And he's amazing. He does a lot of placements on music. That's his side gig. But he's part of A Few Good Men on paper. He will be there for a long time because he appreciates me and he's understanding about the business. My man, Jesse P., who's in North Carolina, is one of the biggest soft, gonna be Chad from Neptune's type dude, humble, a beast. He has a record out already with little baby, the baby. He has a record with YNF Lucci, but he decided to take his career to the next level. I met him through a guy named C-Flow. Shout out to C-Flow for bringing him to me. You know what I'm saying? Or just letting me hear about him, and I took, you know, charge of that. And then Nice One, who's a beautiful father, you know, worked with me at JetBlue. I work part-time at JetBlue. Niggas don't know, but I'm gonna let them know. I get them free flights. I enjoy people. It's a health where I work out. I met Nice One. He was by himself, and he was like, yo, man, I heard all you do. And I would go to work and be with Obama, and then go to work the next day, and them niggas is like, yo, why you here at JetBlue? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, my man, it's not about what you do. It's about keep your mind right. And having an autistic son, I needed the benefits. You know what I mean? So they, you know, people judge you and like, yo, you don't need to be here. And then I would say, I'm gonna be with 50. And then the next day they were like, they look at me like, you ain't with 50. They'll see, oh no, you with 50. Oh, big shout out to my man Chuck, who passed away from coronavirus. One of the best I ever loved. You know what I'm saying? All my people in JetBlue, I shout out. You know, all my people, Eric, all my friends in JetBlue that are big inspiration to me. Woody, Karan. You know, I love people, man. Victor, my man Victor Wayne from Brooklyn. It was like we had the whole New York up in there, and we did a lot of stuff together. We learned. They used to think I was crazy. You know what I'm saying? They used to think I was crazy and yo, how you come to work and you fly in, you fly out. I said, yo, my man, it like working at JetBlue is like you fly in and you got your own jet and you share it with everybody. And then I'll come in the next morning and leave and go right to work. And then people be like, whoa, this kid is crazy. But
Right.
you know, the hustle. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I said, you always got to keep working. You know, there's people with #1 hits and no money in their pocket. It's
Right.
sad to say. I want the youth to understand that. There's people with #1 hits and there's no money in pocket because they chose to get the fame. They didn't chase the fortune. And
Right.
it's understandable. It's understandable. But one thing I do say again with the youth, and I like to drop jewels all day long in this interview, and I'm gonna continue because that's what God put me in this world for, is to get your lawyer and lawyer up. Okay, get your lawyer, study your laws, and don't settle for less. If you have to say no, you say no. The other day, I had a situation, and they tried to lowball me on price, but they have all these famous stars on their songs. They're getting all these big people and all this good stuff. And I literally walked away, and I sat there with my team, and I told them, "Look, this is what it is. You guys are better value. We need to sit down and be patient and wait for that real deal." You know what I'm saying? And they all agreed with me. And that's why I love these guys like brothers. It's, you know, and like I said, there are a few McMahon Productions, LLC, we're incorporated. We're going on big records, which we have a lot of stuff that we're going to join. Boozer's Rihanna type of dude, like, Jesse's like the baby. He has his little flavor. Nice One comes up with these crazy ideas. Got a shot, but we got something pending that we trying to work. Is a huge thing. So everybody brings a flavor, and like I said, all money is not good money. I stress you people, do not jump on everything. I turned down 3 good situations to my mind, but to my future were garbage. You understand what I'm saying? Garbage. No money for the family, no nothing for future. So I impose to you young producers, don't ever just give up your rights and your music. It's called publishing. In a song, there's 100% of publishing, 50 for the songwriters and 50 for the music. You fight for your right. You own your own masters. We predict the future. I'm telling you now, I've turned down millions of dollars and maybe don't have as much as a lot of people that we know in Orlando who's popping and pulling out singles. But I can walk out my house with peace of mind and soul and call my mom every day and don't have to say, "Mommy, I got jerked. Mommy, I don't know why I did this. Mom, and blame everybody else." So at the end of the day, don't think because you see these people with all this money, they owe their future. And you don't want to be that. You don't want to owe your future these days. You want to own the future. You know what I mean?
You hear that? You hear that, Orlando?
Yeah.
We're telling you some lottery winnings right there, man. If you can tune into that, you will be better, you will think better, and you will do better. I want to leave the interview on a light topic.
I got one thing to say though.
Okay.
My life that was in my life, because it is about my future.
Yes,
I had
talk
one
about it.
person in my life that passed away and died of AIDS, and his name was Keith Haring. Okay, and Keith Haring was one of the most influential pop artists in New York City. People wear his clothes to this day, and I met him at the group home. I should have said the story of the group home. Added him in that group. I met him at the group home painting on a wall, and I told him, "I can paint like that, and I know what I'm doing." And he looked at me and said, "Well, go ahead." And he allowed me to paint. So I was part of history in the medical center that we had that Keith had painted. Not only that, he became my volunteer. And
Wow.
he became my volunteer. I was making $800 a week at the age of 18 years old, traveling on top of the line jets, going to London. He introduced me to Madonna. Madonna kidnapped me in Palladium, and we won't get into that part, but we had a great time, and I became her friend. To this day, I was in the Daily News at Palladium, all right? I've got to meet so many people. So Keith Haring I have to give shout out to Keith Haring and all the flowers, and may he rest his soul. But he was amazing, and he was a big inspiration in my life. And I have to, tell everybody that I was his personal assistant. Like I was just amazed, and he was very influential. So again, people that are influential, please never forget them. Give them their flowers. Say thank you to their family, even if they're dead. Write them a letter. Go find out where their father is, where their mother is, where their son is, and say your dad was such a big inspiration to me, because that little effort will get you 10 times more across this crazy river in the music game.
Right. Real people remember real people. Hurt people hurt people. So, if we can dig that in 2021, 2020 will be a faint memory, and it will stop at December 31st. Because 2020 has been a maniac to us all. Please believe me.
I lost a lot of people to the pandemic. I lost my uncle, Papa. I lost my other uncle, Geronimo. I lost my best friend, Chuck, that I love to death, from JetBlue. I mean, it just, the list goes on. I just heard somebody lost their mother the other day. My friend Crystal, she lost her mom. Like we're losing so many people these days. My brother Jonathan lost his grandfather. Like it's just like it's crazy. This pandemic is really, really. I expect you guys to carry yourself well. I see in Orlando nobody wearing masks. I see people partying, chains out, cars, all this stuff. Like we really, really gotta sit down and say this is not over yet. We have to carry ourselves with precaution, wear our masks, wash our hands. I have to go out there. I know people can't stay home because they're gonna stay broke. But how you carry yourself will allow you to continue to go out again. You know what I'm saying? So
right. And you just said it a minute ago, which was, not all money is good money. We have a lot of people, a big chunk of the population of this country, who have chosen money over life. Mm-hmm. So, and that's the choices that we have, right? We have the choice to, I won't screw my money up, even if I gotta die for it. Or even if I kill somebody else by infecting them. We're living in some serious times. So to your point, there's a physical pandemic as well as a spiritual pandemic going on right about now. And shouts out to all my soldiers in the fight that maintaining and just looking at their life and saying, you know what, we could do better and we gonna be better.
Shout out to my crew, Fame and Fortune, who young entrepreneurs. They're from Orlando. Y'all go out and support them. You see this right here, Fame and Fortune. Young Cat's Dada, Cannon, all these guys, his brothers, a brotherhood thing, and they're doing their thing out there. Support them for your local. Same way you go buy that Adidas jersey, go buy from my peoples. They're young, they're good people, they give a lot. They just had a basketball tournament not too long ago. So, shout out to them too, Fame and Fortune.
Yes, sir.
What I'm trying to say, help everybody out, and do what you got to do, man. And always remember your family. Kiss your mother every day, your father every day, whether he was there for you or not. You have to, enjoy him, embrace them, because at the end of the day, they gave you life, and without life, we were nothing. You know what I mean? We're nothing, and without our families, we're nothing. Everybody's family has issues. Everybody has a different point of view, this or that. But at the end of the day, when they're gone, trust me, you would definitely feel it, and it's not a good feeling. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there.
And with that, my peoples, I must ask him before he leaves. Top 5 dead or alive. Let's go.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. So,
top 5 dead or alive MCs. Go.
Okay. Top 5 dead or alive. Hold up. She's right here. Come over here. This is my top 5 right here. That's my top 5 right there.
Yes, sir. What's going on, mama?
That's number 1.
That's number 1.
That's number 1. Number 2 is Nas.
Nas, Queensbridge. Let's go. Where we at?
Number 3 is my wife. Number 4 is my kids. Number 5 is my sister.
Yes.
And most important is God. But I'm gonna get back to the top 5. I had to switch that rhythm up.
It's all good.
But it's all good. But okay, so Nas, can't mess with Nas.
Okay.
I don't care who it is. Tupac, you can't mess with Tupac. I don't care who it is.
Queensbridge, Oakland, let's go.
No, hold on. Slow down. Tupac was from the Bronx. That was my friend from Gun Hill Road. Okay, my personal friend before all this fame. That he was from Tupac is from Gun Hill Road in the Bronx. Finding out, to give you more history, Pete Rock lived down the street from him. Pete Rock is from the Bronx. His father got a job, made some big money, moved to Money Only around Vernon. Shout out to Pete Rock.
Shout out to Pete Rock from the BX. Let's go.
Whoa. Pete Rock will pick up my phone no matter what it is. I love him. Premier. Okay. All these great producers, they pick up their phones. They're not like these new producers that are popping in Orlando right now and don't pick up their phones. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm keeping it real, nigga. Like, I'm keeping it real. But anyway, so like I said, Nas, Biggie, okay?
Brooklyn, stand up. Let's go.
I got to be real good with this one. DMX.
D. Let's
Go.
go.
Right?
That's 4.
Okay. Hold on. Rakim.
Bruh. Can't have a top 5 without Bruh. Right.
Rakim
All
is
right.
All right.
Top 5 producers.
Wait, I didn't give you the 5.
You gave me 5. You gave me 5.
All right, I can't count. I must be getting old. All
good,
right,
brother. Top 5 producers.
Top 5 producers. Hold up. I ain't gonna lie. Premier.
Premier. Let's go. Houston, Texas. Stand up.
Premier. No ID.
No ID. What are we doing, Chi-Town? No ID. Let's go.
I might have to reverse that. I'm sorry. Pete Rock.
Pete Rock. BX. Let's go.
I got to no ID. Right?
Yep. Chi-Town. We got
Chi-Town.
Right,
let me think of somebody that really, really is humble. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that means everything more than the fame part. Somebody who's really, wow, man, I'm trying to like figure this out. Okay. This is kind of weird, but somebody that's kind of humble, and I saw him grow up, and it amazes me. I wouldn't say he's humble because he's flashy, but Hitmaker was signed to DMX. Shout out to Hitmaker.
Hitmaker. Let's go.
Hitmaker. And who else? Hold on. I got it. And hip hop. Oh my God. Give me it again. Hitmaker. I said, tell me what I said again.
Premier, Hitmaker. Pete Rock. And No ID.
No ID. Man, there's really, who else could really top those guys? Who really could top those guys? You got one more, bro. Wait. I got to give my flowers to Jermaine Dupri.
Oh, wow. Jermaine Atlanta. Let's go.
I'm telling you, Jermaine Dupri is a real person. That guy I know since he was young when he was dancing at the Guest Fresh tour. And to this day, he's the same person. So shout out to Jermaine Dupri.
Yes, sir. Hey, I just had Cool Rock on. Shout out to Cool Rock from Fat Boys.
You know I mean, we forget all of that.
And he told me about Jermaine Dupri's dad putting that whole Fresh Fest together.
Let me tell you a quick Kanye story. Hold up. Kanye was going to a record company, and he literally was with Jermaine Dupri's dad. A lot of people don't know the story, but I'm going to tell you the story. It's a great story. And he went up in there and was like, yeah, I'm going to be better than this. I'm going to be better than him. I'm going to be better than Jermaine Dupri. And he was like, yo, my man, you need to leave. He was like, but what are you talking about? I'm going to be better than everybody. He said, you just finished telling me I'm going to be better than my son. You're going to be better than my son. And that's Jermaine Dupri. So sometimes when you go in the office, just say, I want to be as successful as them.
Right.
You don't want to be better than them. You know, and shout out to Irv Gotti, because I wanted to be Irv Gotti. I didn't want to be like Mike. I didn't want to be like all these other people. I wanted to be a Irv Gotti. And I had the privilege to tell him that. And my uncle Clyde Otis, who wrote 55 singles in 1 year and wrote Sign of Aretha Franklin and did all this stuff. And I always wanted to be like him. So in reality, all you young guys, when you want to be like somebody, you can say you want to be as successful as them, not them as in a whole. Another joke. We can go on all day, man.
Dude, man.
And
you have been an amazing interview, just like I expected. You're like a kid on Christmas.
Oh, yeah. And shout out to all my up and coming producers, my up and coming artists, my cousin Preacher 407, kicking in Orlando, my cousin TJ, Jam Master J's son, who I adore. You know, all these guys coming up, like, don't ever give up. Don't settle for less. Get your lawyer on. The most important person that you want to be nice to in the music business is your attorney and your engineer. Okay? And your studio etiquette. You go in that studio and you keep your mouth shut until they ask you a question. Trust me, it works. You know what I'm saying? So that's the lawyer is your best friend. Forget about chains. Forget about cars. Forget about liquefied assets. You take your money and you buy that property for a penny and turn it into $1 million. And you will never forget me. I promise you that. Because liquefied assets get you nowhere.
Talk about it, man. Talk about it. Hey, this is the Soul Show with your boy Rome and my brother from another mother, Rated R, man. You know I gotta have you back on, man. We can't do it all in one show,
like
man.
I used to say, Rated R, get the car. I'm getting my own cars now.
I heard that, brother.
Shout out for that beautiful experience to Fat Joe and everybody else and everybody in the world.
Yes, sir.
God bless you, Nancy. God bless you. I'm just gonna give flowers to everybody.
Yes, sir.
Derek Milano doing it. Shout out to Orlando's favorite. My other boy did WAP. Give me his name. Come on. Flacco. I call him Flacco. But he's killing it. M Square. I mean, there's so many guys in Orlando. And y'all don't even know they live there. You know what I'm saying? We got one of Rockefeller's greatest artists. Lives there. I ain't going to say his name because that ain't my business. But, you know, y'all find out if y'all know him. He's staying in Orlando. So, you know, we got all the jewels in Orlando. Nick Anderson, all my family and friends. You know, I like that. They wrote, this interview makes my heart smile. And I love that. This is what it's about. Inspiring others. My verse, all these crazy SB Anatomy, my nephew, Cisco, little Cisco. Oh my God, man. I just, like I said, I love everybody. And like I said, just spread love all day. But if they stab you, take the knife, wipe it off, and put it in your pocket and walk away.
Amen, brother.
Right.
Amen. Hey, bro. Love you, man. We'll be in contact. I will have you back on. You better believe that, brother. Rated R.
So much for having me here, Rome. I love you to death. You are amazing. You're an amazing father. You're an amazing person. My boy Malik, I ain't forget you. See, you thought I forgot you, Malik. Malik, I love you to death. Your grind is incredible. George, Andreas, all original Juice Crew. Mato, rest in peace. I mean, I have everybody. My family in Orlando, my in-laws, the Acevedos, all that. You know what I'm saying? You know, my brother-in-law, Triggs. Shout out to Triggs, doing it up. Fly ass nigga. You know, and all my family and friends, my mother-in-law, all that. You know, family, man, family, straight family. God bless you guys. And a few good men. Look out, well, we got some ill placements coming in. And by the way, I got Snow the Product in town. Shout out to Snow the Product. She is amazing. Hopefully we're gonna get something with her. She's in town right now. Shout out to Snow the Product. God bless y'all.
All right, my brother. Thank you once again. That is Rated R joining the Soul Show for tonight. You already know, my brother. Love you, brother.
Miami Heat.
Let's go. Yes. This is another one in the books. You know your boy Rome is interviewing the people of our city that represent hip-hop for real, and Ralphie is one of them. Thank God we have people out here that are contributing heavy to give our city what it exactly needs, which is the sound of Orlando. You already know. We'll be back tomorrow. Please believe me, this ain't over. You know, we're just getting started. Thank God for that. Shouts out to everybody on the check-in. Chuck E. Cheese, Miriam, Carmen, Shouts out to Deonara. Shouts out to David on the check-in. Carmelo. Shouts out to Chris on the check-in. Shouts out to Ray. Shouts out to Jesse Jazz on the check-in. All of my people's on the check-in tonight. It's been awesome. We've just talked about hip-hop and the story behind it. Shouts out to all the people he mentioned. We need to share more love. It's a beautiful thing. Thank God for that. And we will continue to proceed and rock the mic mañana. The Soul Show, baby. Sound of Orlando. Let's go.